Hello friends, welcome to Mechanical Engineering online classes.
So today let us solve some problems on wedges. But before we get into solving problems, let us first know what a wedge is. Wedge is actually a triangular shaped tool with a thick end on one side and thin pointed end on the other side. So it gets tapered onto the other side. So this triangular shaped tool is used to lift objects or to separate two objects or to send this particular thing into small spaces. For example, I have a heavy load here. I want to shift it up. So this wedge is used. This wedge is pushed beneath this particular lower surface of the object, and as it is pushed, because this is a sharp end here, so it gets beneath the lower surface of the object, so due to which this object is slightly lifted, and once it gets lifted, the hooks are sent so as to hold the object, and it is then lifted up and it is transported to wherever it is needed. So these wedges, we also see its usage as doorstops. So this wedge is an inclined plane. We can simply call it as an inclined plane object also. It might be made up of wood or metal depending on the application, depending on what how much load it have to, how much force it can resist, or how much load it should lift up. Depending on the application, the material will depend. So let us solve some problems on wedges. So here let us see the first question. To resolve a 2500 Newton force that is acting vertically on wedge having inclination 22 degrees into two components. One component acting along the inclination and the other perpendicular to it. The figure is part of the question. Here a wedge is given. This itself is the triangular tool upon which a 200 Newton force is acting vertically down. Down is not mentioned in the question, but in the figure he has mentioned it. And the wedge angle is 22 degree. Okay, this is 90. So this is 22. So this will be 90 minus 22. Now we have to resolve this 200 Newton force into two components. One component should be taken along the inclination. Here the only inclination is this line. Another component which is perpendicular to the inclination. So for our convenience, I have drawn one line which is parallel to the inclination, and I am just naming that line as x-axis, along which I have to find one component of 2500 Newton force, and I have to again draw other perpendicular also, because I need another component which is perpendicular to inclined plane. So let this be y. So if we see here, the force that is acting on the wedge is this one. It is a vertical force that is acting on the wedge. It is a vertically downward force which is 2500 Newton, and this is the x and y axis. So I have to split this 2500 Newton into two components, one along x-axis and the other along y-axis. Like as we have already discussed in how the resolution is done, and in that case I am just trying to tilt this. This is our x-axis and this is our y-axis. So on tilting, how is this 2500 Newton? It is getting into the third quadrant. So in that case, this, in simple terms, I can say that this is in the direction which is left and down. As we know, the left and right are taken care by this axis. So the x component or a component along this particular axis will be leftward, and because this is downward also, up and down is taken care by this axis. So the y component will be downward. So if this is the 2500 Newton force, this will be the component, x component of 2500 Newton force is leftward, and the y component of 2500 Newton force is downward. So let this be F. Let this particular component be Fx. Let this component be Fy. Let the component along x-axis be Fx. Let the component of F along y-axis be Fy. Now we know that this F is a resultant of Fx and Fy. Splitting resultant into different components is resolution of force. Alright, so this 25 Newton, 100 Newton force is the resultant force. So I am just drawing this resultant here. This is 2500 Newton force, that is resultant, and our Fx is this one. Our Fy is this one. So I have just used the triangle law of forces, where our resultant is from tail to tip acting downward. So because our resultant is like this, downward, how will our resolution of forces be? It will be like this only, right? These two forces, Fx and Fy, when Fx and Fy are applied, then it should be giving a resultant force like this. So this is the triangle, the force polygon that we have drawn, force triangle. Here it is a triangle. So now I know this is F, I know this is Fx. We exactly know the direction of Fx also, because this 22 degree, this 22 is given. Alright, this is 22 with respect to horizontal, this is 22 degrees, so this is also 22 degree. So we know the angles, and perpendicular to that is, these two are perpendicular to each other. This is Fy, and the resultant of these two forces is the very F, which is 2500 Newton. Now we can apply sine rule, because this is a triangle. I am drawing say for example this Fx. Let this Fx be Fx only, let this length be Fy only. This is F, whose magnitude is known to us. We know the internal angles. This is 90, because this is 22. If this comes over here, this is our vertical, so this will be our 22 degree. So this is 180 minus of 90 plus 22. It will be 90 minus 22. 90 minus 22 will be 68 degree. So by sine rule, F divided by sine of opposite angle, sine of angle between the other two sides is 90. This is equal to Fx by sine of angle between the other two sides, which is between F and Fy, is 22. This is equal to Fy by sine of 68. Now F by sine 90 is F. F is nothing but 2500. So this is equal to Fx by sine 22 is equal to Fy by sine 68. So from here, Fx is 2500 sine 22, which will come out to be 936.516 Newton. Similarly, Fy is equal to 2500 into sine 68. So this will be 2317.9596 Newton. So this is the resolution of the force 2500 when the resolution is done along the inclined plane and perpendicular to inclined plane. Rather than always trying to draw a force polygon or a force triangle, apply sine rule and all these things, I'll tell you one simple thing that we all know how to apply it here. We have the 2500 Newton force like this. We need one component along this, one component along this. This is Fx, this is Fy, this is the F, which is 2500 Newton force. Now this is nothing but 22. This is 22 with respect to horizontal. So because this is 90 because x and y are perpendicular to each other, as this is 22 with respect to horizontal. Between f and fx the angle is 68 because the total is 90, so the angle between f and fy is 22. So what are the angles? Angle between fx and f is 68. Angle between f and fy is 22 because they are rectangular components. X and y are perpendicular to each other. Now, like how we know, in case I have a right angle triangle, if I know this is a x, y and z, if I know this theta, so what is this z? Z is nothing but x cos theta, and y is nothing but x sin theta. We can apply the same concept here. This is f. What will its horizontal component be? What will its x component be? F, because this angle is 60 and because it is adjacent, fx will be f cos 68. F cos 68 is nothing but 2500 into cos 68. We get the same 936.5. Fx from the forced triangle, we obtained it this way, 936.51. From this particular straight away taking the horizontal component also, you got the same answer. So similarly, what is Fy? Fy is, again this is an adjacent component to F because you know the angle between F and Fy. This is the hypotenuse, this is the adjacent. Why is this hypotenuse? Because the resultant is always, the resultant line length is always greater compared to the other, right? So this is the resultant, this is the hypotenuse, this is its adjacent side, and the angle between f and fy is known to us. So what is the component of f along y, which is fy? It is f cos 22. This angle is 22. So because it is adjacent side, it is a cos. So this is again nothing but 2500 cos 22. We are getting 2317.9596, which we previously got from the fourth polygon also. We got the same answer. From this also we got the same answer. Why? Because how are we getting the hypotenuse of right angle triangle? I have a y component, I have an x component. The joining, the completing part of the triangle is a hypotenuse. The completing part of the triangle in case of this is the resultant, which is f. So this will take place of the hypotenuse, and if you know these adjacent angles, then these components will become adjacent components or adjacent sides. So from which we can easily develop the find out the values of fx and fy, which is nothing, which comes out to be the same as that when you are using a force polygon, applying sine rule. Whether you do all this or you straight away write it this way, there is no wrong in it. You get the same answer and the concept is same. So let us see another question. A force P is acting on a block as shown. So this is a block kept on an inclined plane. P is acting like this, which is 30 degrees with respect to the inclined plane. From inclined plane, P is at 30 degrees. So if the horizontal rectangular component of P is 14 Newton acting to the left, then find the y component of P. So in the question it is clearly mentioned that the horizontal rectangular component is 40. Horizontal and vertical will not change based on the inclined plane. Horizontal is always this, vertical is always this. If it, unless and until mentioned that the horizontal rectangular component of P is along the inclined plane, horizontal is definitely not along the inclined plane. Horizontal is somewhere like this. along this 4 line. It is horizontal. This is a universal word used for a horizontal, and perpendicular to that, vertical will be like this. So that's the reason, because this is horizontal and this is vertical, that's the reason this plane is called inclined plane. Inclined plane itself, if it is horizontal, why do we call it inclined plane? Alright, so the question is very clear that the horizontal rectangular component of P is 40 Newton, that is acting to the left. So even if he doesn't mention that it is acting to the left, from this question where P is pointed left and upward, we know that the x component will be to the left and y component will be up. So here I am just redrawing it, but before that we have to find this inclined plane angle. What is this angle? This is tan theta is equal to 3 by 4. So theta is equal to tan inverse 3 by 4. That will come out to be 36.869. So I am taking 87 degrees. So this is 36.87. So let me redraw. I am drawing the inclined plane at 36.87 degrees. I'm not measuring the angles, so I'm just roughly drawing it. The block is here. I don't have to measure also. For mathematical purpose I have measured, but I don't have to use a protractor and then draw. So this is the y. So because this is x, P is given somewhere here, which is 30 from inclined plane. This is P, which is left upward. Now the question has got another information that if at all I am going to resolve this P, we can resolve this P in any directions, right? It might be into oblique components or rectangular components, and along inclined or parallel to inclined or at some angle to inclined. You can resolve this P into any different components that we have already seen in our previous lectures. So here, in case suppose I am to split this into horizontal and vertical component, one information that I have is that if at all I am to split this P into horizontal and vertical components, vertical will be like this. This is okay, I cannot use this x and y, so I am using PH and PV. H for horizontal, V for vertical, because x and y are already used up. X is along inclined and y is perpendicular to inclined, so I cannot use PX and PV. So PX and PY, so I am using PH and PV. So it is given that PH is equal to 40 Newton. This is given. Now what is PX and PY? We need to find PY. PY is, if at all I am to split P along X and Y, then it will be PX and PY like this. So the question is to find PY. How is our headache? So I have to find PY. So because I already have some data about only PH, let us use that. So I am trying, because I have a PH, I am trying to write PX in terms of P. What is PX? This is the hypotenuse, as I told you, this is a resultant. So if I am splitting this P into PX and PY, because I know the angle between P and PX, this is 30. So PX is the horizontal component. Horizontal in the sense along the adjacent component of P, because I have this. What is PX? PX is nothing but the component of P dropped onto x-axis. So that is P cos 30. We have applied the same concept. I've taken the same concept from the previous problem. I can write Px as P cos 30. So similarly, when I am splitting P into components PH and PV, then I can write PH also in the same fashion as that I have written for PX. So PH can be written as P. I am dropping this P onto PH now. So what will this component be? P cos of, what is this, 30 plus this angle is our theta, 36.87. So PH is P cos of 30 plus 36.87, which is nothing but P cos of 66.87. This is PH. Now pH is already known, it is given that pH is 40, so 40 is equal to P cos of 66.87. In all this, in the entire equation, the only unknown is P. So I can write P as 40 Newton divided by cos of 66.87. That is coming out to be 101.828, so it is 83 Newton. Now we know the force that is acting on the block. Once we know P, we can find any component of P. P is found. This is 101.83 Newton. Now we can find Py. What is Py? Now because Px and Py are rectangular components, angle between P and Px is 30. So angle between P and Py will be 60 because angle between x and y is 90. So this is 60. So I can find Py in terms of P. How do we do that? Py is equal to, you have to now drop down this P onto Py. What will be the adjacent side? I know this is 60. So this is P. So this will be, Py is P cos 60. P is already known to us, it is 101.83 into cos 60. That will come out to be 50.91 Newton. Or otherwise also, rather again finding this angle and finding Py in like P cos 60, because x and y are perpendicular to each other. We have already wrote Px as P cos 30. So Py, because Py is perpendicular to Px, Py will be P sin 30. P sin 30 is nothing but P cos 60. So you get the same answer. So this is how we solve the problem. Now let us see another problem. A block of weight 1000 Newton is kept on inclined plane, and that is pushed by horizontal force 500 Newton as shown. So this is the inclined plane. Alright, again here we have to find theta. Theta will be tan inverse 3 by 4, which is again nothing but 36.87 degrees. So this is a block that is kept on the inclined plane and it is pushed by a horizontal force, that is 500 Newton. So we have to find the sum of component of forces along xy axis, one oriented parallel and other oriented perpendicular to the incline. So we have to find the sum of forces acting along the inclination and the sum of forces acting perpendicular to the inclination. So we have to find sigma fx and sigma fy. This is theta. Tan theta is equal to 3 by 4. So theta is tan inverse 3 by 4. And this is 36.87 degrees. So the inclined plane is 36.87 degrees with respect to horizontal. And now there's a block here. How many forces are acting on the block? One is the 500 Newton force, but there is another force, that is the weight of the object, which is 1000 Newton. So if this is the centroid, so for instance is the centroid, so this is the 1000 Newton force that is acting vertically downward. Weight always acts vertically downward. What we mean by vertically down is that the weight will be acting towards the center of earth. So compared to the height of the object onto the earth, the radius of earth is almost infinity. So that's the reason we draw all the weight forces as vertically downward. So here also I'm showing the weight force as acting vertically downward from the centroid of or center of gravity of this object. Now let this be F1, because we have more forces. I'm naming the force. This is F1, say for instance, and this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. There is a horizontal force which is 500 Newton. Let this horizontal force be, say, F2. Now if at all I am to split F1 and F2, along what should I split? Because the question is clearly saying that we have to find the sum of component of forces along xy axis, means we have to find the sum of forces parallel to incline and perpendicular to incline. We are not supposed to add parallel plus perpendicular. They are different. They are we can only add as a vector, but we cannot add as a scalar. So we have to find the component of f1 along x, the component of f2 along x. Then we have to see the summation. Then similarly we have to find the component of f1 along y and component of f2 along y. Then we have to do the summation depending on the direction. So for example, this is f1. If I am to split this f1 along x and y, how will it be? f1x will be leftward, f1y will be downward. This is f1x, this is f1y. Now if I am to split this f2 along x and y, I am just extending this because it will be cumbersome for me here. So I am just splitting it along the same line of action of force. So if this is f2, fx will be like this and fy will be like this. So this is f2x, this is f2y. Now if we see, f1x is leftward, f2x is rightward. So adding means it will be f2x minus f1x. We have to, because they are in different directions. In case there is a block like this, it is subjected to a 15 Newton force leftward, 20 Newton force rightward. So what is the net force? Net force is 30 Newton force acting rightward or leftward. This is 50 minus 20. In case the object is kept like this and this is 15 Newton force, this is 20 Newton force, both acting rightward only, then I can say that it is subjected to 17 Newton force acting towards the right. So there is a difference. Here also we are adding, here also we are adding, but we are considering the direction. Depending on the direction, the net might be an addition or subtraction. That depends on the situation. So here if at all we see, f1 is split into x and y components. Because this f1 is left down, x component is leftward, y component is downward. So f1x is leftward. So because f2 is right downward, its x component is rightward. So what is the summation of what is sigma fx? Sigma fx will be minus f1x plus f2x. I have to consider the direction. If at all I am considering that the leftward forces are negative, then it is minus f1x. Rightward forces as positive, then this is f2x. I am adding them. I am finding the sum. The total forces that are acting along x-axis is sigma fx. So this is one thing. Now let us find f1x, f1y. So this is f1 vertically downward, fx is along the incline, this is f1x along the incline, and we know that this angle is 36.87 degrees. We found this. And now f1y is somewhere like this, f1y perpendicular to x-axis. So if this is f1, this is f36.87. Because these two are 90 degrees, this also becomes 36.87. How? Because these two are perpendicular to each other. So this is 90 minus 36.87, which is nothing but 53.13. So because sum of these two angles should be 90, so this is 90 minus this, which is nothing but 36.87. Now I know I can write f1x and f1y in terms of f1 using any angle. So f1x can be written as f1 cos 53.13 or f1 sin 36.87. Similarly, I can write f1y as, from this only I can write it is f1 cos 36.87. If this is sine, if f1x is sine, then f1y will be cos, because x and y are perpendicular to each other. So similarly, let us find f2x and f2y also. f2 is horizontal force F2x is along the inclined and perpendicular to that is F2y. We know that this angle is 36.87, so this is 90 degrees, so this will be 53.13. So we can write F2x as F2 cos 36.87, and obviously without finding any other angle I can write F2y as F2 sin 36.87, because F2x is F2 cos some theta, F2y will be F2 sin that theta. So now we have F1x, F1y, F2x and F2y. Now the question is to find sigma fx and sigma fy. So sigma fx is minus f1, this is towards left, this is towards right, opposite directions. Though they are parallel to each other, they are acting in opposite directions. So it is minus f1x. So according to our convention, leftward forces are negative. So this is minus f1x plus the rightward force is f2x. What is minus f1x? F1x is this one, f1 sin 36.87. So I am writing it f1 sin 36.87 plus f2x is f2 cos 36.87. What is f2? The value of f2 is 500 Newton force. This is the horizontal force, right? This one. This we named as f2. The weight force we named as f1. So this is plus f2 cos 36.87. Now this is nothing but, we know f1 and f2. f1 is 1000, so this is minus 1000 sin 36.87 plus f2 is 500 cos 36.87. So this will be equal to minus 200 Newton. Minus 200 Newton means, or I can directly write it as 200 Newton, which is leftward, like this, where this angle is 36.87. So we can represent the direction and angle without using the sign. So it is 200 Newton. This is the magnitude. The direction is mentioned here. It is along the inclined plane and down towards the inclined plane, and the inclined plane is at 36.87 degrees with respect to horizontal. So like this we can represent our sigma fx. Now let us find sigma fy. Sigma fy is sum of force components acting along y. So this is f1y acting downwards, and f2y also is acting downwards. Both are in the same direction, so we can add. But by convention, upward forces are taken as positive and downward forces are taken as negative. So I am giving a minus for both of them. Both are acting in the same direction, so both are having the same sign. And by convention, downward forces are negative, so both are having a negative sign. So we have already found f1y. F1y is f1 cos 36.87 minus f2y is f2 sin 36.87. So this is 1000, this is 500. Because both are in the same direction, both gets added up. And the sign will only talk about the direction. So the value that we get is, or simply I can write it as, say, 1100 Newton. This is downward perpendicular to the inclined plane. So this is 36.87. Alright, so this is perpendicular. So like this we can find the sum of forces. So let us see how far things are understood. Take down this question. On inclined plane there is a block which is subjected to 360 Newton force, and its inclinations are given in terms of slopes. If x and y are these, find the resolution of 360 Newton along x and y. Find fx and fy. This is first question. The second question is this. The second question, where a block is kept on an inclined plane with whose at 30 degrees with respect to horizontal. P is given acting on the block which is 20 with respect to horizontal. If Px, x is along the inclination, if Px is 300 Newton, you are supposed to find the resultant P and the y component of P. Solve the two questions and write the answers in the comment section.
Thanks for watching. If this video was of help to you, please like it and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.